If your mornings have become unusually quiet, if you've felt your confidence slipping lately, and if you're growing tired of acting like it doesn't matter, then I encourage you to pay close attention. What I'm about to share may surprise you. In fact, it goes against much of what's commonly believed about men's health after 60. As a medical doctor specializing in men's health, I've worked with hundreds of patients over the age of 60. And what I've found is this. The primary reason many men start experiencing weaker erections is not necessarily low testosterone, as you've probably heard everywhere, but rather a decline in vascular function, specifically poor blood flow. And here's the truth most won't tell you. The solution to that issue isn't a pill. It isn't an expensive gadget or some miracle supplement. It's actually something startlingly simple. A natural solution that doesn't require a prescription, and it begins with what you choose to put on your plate in the morning. In fact, one of the most powerful changes a man over 60 can make for his vascular health is to consume a very specific, ordinary vegetable: the beet. That's right. This humble root vegetable, when used correctly, has the potential to dramatically improve circulation, enhance morning energy levels, and, to the great relief of many men, reignite the physical intimacy that they feared was lost for good. I've seen it firsthand in clinical practice. Today, I'll walk you through how this works, the science backing it up, and how making this a daily habit can improve not just your physical performance, but your confidence, your sense of identity, and even your emotional connection with your partner. But before we begin, I encourage you to stay connected and proactive about your health. Be sure to subscribe and activate notifications so you don't miss out on medically sound advice that can help you restore your strength, your vitality, and your optimism. Let's explore a basic truth that isn't often explained to men over the age of 60. Erections aren't just about desire or even hormone levels. They're about vascular performance. How efficiently blood flows through the circulatory system, and whether that flow is sufficient to support normal sexual function. The key molecule that governs this system? Nitric oxide, a gas your body naturally produces, and one with a critical job. It tells your blood vessels to relax and dilate. This dilation is what allows oxygen-rich blood to flow more freely, especially to areas like the corpus cavernosum of the penis, which act much like internal sponges filling with blood during arousal. In a younger man, nitric oxide is produced abundantly, but after 60, it's common, and well documented, for nitric oxide production to decline by up to 70% or more. This is compounded by natural aging of the vascular endothelium, the innermost lining of your arteries, which becomes progressively less responsive. This means even when your body wants to generate a response, the pathways aren't firing as they used to. The result? Blood flow becomes more restricted. The firm, full erections you once experienced transform into weak, inconsistent signals. Importantly, this doesn't mean you're broken. It means your system is signaling that it needs support, not from synthetic fixes, but from dietary and lifestyle choices that restore vascular function. And this decline doesn't just impact physical intimacy. It touches every element of a man's psychological well-being, his identity, his connection with his partner, and his overall confidence. Many of my patients have described it as one of the most personal and painful aspects of aging. One case stays with me to this day. Charles, a 71-year-old patient, came to me feeling defeated and withdrawn. He softly admitted, "I haven't had a full erection in over a year." Rather than prescribing medication, I made one simple recommendation. Start your day with 6 ounces of fresh beet juice, consumed on an empty stomach. 2 weeks later, Charles called back, and the change in his voice was unmistakable. "Doctor," he said, "I woke up this morning and felt like myself again." It was a powerful reminder that sometimes the simplest interventions, when done correctly and consistently, can produce the most profound changes. So let's break this down from a scientific and practical perspective. The first issue is that most men overlook nitric oxide. This molecule acts as your blood vessel's natural relaxant. Without adequate nitric oxide, blood can't circulate efficiently, and that shows up as more than just difficulty with erections. It also means lower energy, increased fatigue, and reduced stamina during both physical activity and intimacy. The second problem is ignoring the importance of morning timing. Your mornings are actually a biological window of opportunity. Testosterone levels are naturally highest in the early hours of the day. Blood pressure is elevated in a positive way to support circulation, and, metabolically, your body is primed to absorb nutrients efficiently. If you delay nutrient intake, or worse, skip it, you miss this optimal window of nutrient absorption and vascular support. Third, most men are unknowingly sabotaging their mornings by eating the wrong kinds of breakfasts, processed meats, sugary cereals, high glycemic pastries, and excess caffeine. These choices spike insulin, trigger inflammation, constrict blood vessels, and blunt nitric oxide response, essentially offsetting any potential benefit you might gain from a healthy food like beets. Fourth, even when men do try beet juice, many don't prepare it optimally. The method of preparation matters. Whether it's cold-pressed juice, lightly cooked beets, or a high-quality beetroot powder, the goal is to preserve the natural nitrates. Another surprising mistake? Brushing your teeth immediately before drinking beet juice. Why? Because the oral bacteria necessary to convert nitrates into nitric oxide are neutralized by most commercial toothpaste. It's a tiny detail, but it significantly affects results. And finally, consistency is key. Sporadic use won't change much. Your vascular system needs repeated, daily signaling for long-term improvement. Think of this not as a one-time boost, but as part of a healing process for your blood vessels. Now here's the morning routine I recommend for my patients. Upon waking, consume one of the following: half a cup of freshly extracted beet juice, about 6 ounces. Then, a small whole beet blended into a morning smoothie. Then lastly, 1 scoop of a high-grade beetroot powder mixed in warm water. Follow that with a light, vascular supportive meal, a couple of boiled eggs for protein, half an avocado for healthy fat, some whole grain toast for fiber, or even a small handful of nuts. Avoid items that induce inflammation or insulin spikes, like refined carbs, processed food, and excess coffee. And take note of these precision details. Avoid brushing your teeth right before or immediately after drinking beet juice. Wait at least 30 minutes. Consume your nitrates first thing in the morning. This is when your body's nitrate-nitric oxide pathway is most active. For added benefit, take a short 10-minute walk or stretch session after breakfast. Not only does that increase circulation, but it also enhances endothelial responsiveness. So what's happening inside your body while you do all this? The nitrates in beets are converted into nitric oxide, which triggers vasodilation. That means your arteries relax, blood pressure regulates, and blood begins to flow more freely throughout the body, including to the pelvic region. The emotional benefit? That sense of power, the return of motivation, aliveness, and confidence, begins to resurface. For many men, it brings back a feeling of dignity and control. Practically speaking, the results are often tangible. Firmer morning erections, higher energy levels during the day, deeper sleep at night, and, just as important, renewed intimacy with a partner. Let me share another example. Mr. Anderson, age 67, hadn't had a full erection in 8 months. After just 2 weeks of following this morning protocol, he left me a voicemail, his tone light and full of surprise. "Doctor, I woke up this morning and there it was. No meds, nothing else. It just happened. Solid." What he really meant to say was, "I'm back." And he's not alone. I've seen electricians, teachers, military veterans, engineers, and retired fathers all experience similar results, not because of some miracle pill, but because they addressed the root problem, weakened circulation, and gave their body the natural support it's been needing. You're not beyond help. You haven't expired. Your body is still responding. It just needs the right environment to do so. So here's the big picture. Age isn't the enemy. Circulation is. And beetroot, consumed intelligently and consistently in the mornings, can profoundly improve your vascular vitality. Within 7 days, many men begin to notice modest but meaningful changes. By 14 days, energy and responsiveness tend to improve. And after 30 consistent days, you'll be laying a foundation for long-term sexual and cardiovascular health. This is about more than just performance. It's about restoring confidence in your body. It's about rekindling your spark with yourself and with those you love. So start tomorrow. Wake up, pour that beet juice or blend that smoothie, and reclaim your mornings, your masculinity, and your motivation. If this message resonated with you, if it gave you real hope or offered a path forward, feel free to share your experience in the comments. Let others know they're not alone. And subscribe if you haven't already, because there's so much more I want to help you understand about living a vibrant, confident life after 60. Remember, small, consistent changes to your daily routine can bring about incredible transformations. One glass, one morning, one decision at a time. Because you are capable. Your body is resilient. And no matter your age, your best days may still lie ahead.